Okay, good morning. So it is time for you to do your English work from today. And you're going to use the story planner here to very briefly plan out a story to do with a magic pebble at the seaside. So think about all the words we've done, thinking about the book at the beach that we've read already. We're going to plan a beginning, a middle, and an end very briefly because tomorrow you're going to write it in a bit more detail. Okay. So on your sheet, you have got 3 boxes. The beginning of the story, the middle, and the end. Let's focus together on the beginning and what could happen. So I would like you to think about where you are, when you were there, what you're doing, and who you're with. Okay? So if I was doing this, I'd be starting off thinking about when. I really like a sentence focus when we use when something was happening first of all. So, last year, me and my wonderful family visited Krabby Split. So I've said where and I've said what it is. Now tomorrow I might go into more detail with that and say Krabby Split is a campsite by the seaside. It's beautiful. But today I'm just keeping it as brief as possible because we're just getting ideas into our head. Okay? So I've kind of said where, but I could go into more detail tomorrow. And what we're doing at the beginning of our story. So we were there on a family holiday. Tomorrow I might want to go into detail and say that I'm there for 2 weeks or that I'm there for a week, that it's a summer holiday, that we're there to do lots of different activities. But again, today I'm just keeping it a little bit brief and I've already said who I'm with. But I might want to introduce a couple more of my characters because I've just said my family, but I want to know who else is going to be there as well. So I'm going to say my sister, Olivia, my mum, and dad. You can make the characters up or you can use your own family. It's completely up to you. And tomorrow, I'll probably go into detail about describing what my sister looks like, what my mum and dad are like, what the car journey on the way down was like. Oh, have I got a plane there? Have I got on a boat there? But today, I'm just keeping it nice and brief as a quick plan. So last year, me and my wonderful sister visited Krabby Split. We was there on a family holiday. My sister Olivia with my mum and my dad. And now I want to think about what's going to happen in the middle of the story. So I'm going to explain that we're all there on holiday, but what's the little bit of the exciting thing? And if you've seen on our story plan overview, we're going to be writing the story about a magic pebble. So the middle of my story is going to involve me and my sister exploring the beach. And suddenly, we find a glowing pebble. Now everyone's going to find a pebble in this story and it's up to you how you find it. Do you just come across it? Does it start floating up in the air? How do you find it? Who finds it? Is it you? Is it your sister? Is it your brother? Are you with somebody else exploring? Okay. Me and my sister exploring the beach, suddenly we find a glowing pebble. But what is this pebble going to do? Why is it going to be magic? I already know because I've said glowing. I've told the reader that there's something different about it. But I want to know, in your story, what's going to make yours magic. Now in mine, I think my pebble began to float. And when I went to touch it, I'm going to say began to float with. Now you can have lots of fun with this middle part of the story, but again, just doing the main idea for today. Okay, so I said my pebble began to float, and when I went to touch it, I began to float as well. Now I might want to go on an adventure when I begin to float. I might want it to take me over Krabby Split, and I'm spying on different people, seeing all the different activities they're doing, watching the different people doing the fishing from up in the air. I might want it to transport me to a different type of holiday where I'm not by the seaside anymore. Maybe I'm going to visit a polar region or somewhere like Kenya, linking it back to our prior learning. It's up to you what your magic pebble does. It might not want to transport you. You might want to start talking to you. It might want to turn into a different creature. A bit like our story from yesterday. You might want to turn this magic pebble into a character like Zip. It is completely up to you because it is your story. So I've done my beginning. I've explained where I am, who I'm with, when I went, what I'm doing. Not in detail, just a little bit. I've said my middle so that I'm then, in my story, going to explore the beach and I find a magic pebble. My pebble begins to float, and when I went to touch it, I begin to float as well. I've not gone into any more detail yet. That's for tomorrow. And at the end of the story, it's up to you what happens, but I'm going to go back to Krabby Spit and tell Mum and Dad, and they're not going to believe me. They're going to be like, no, that's not true. That didn't happen. But tomorrow, that's when I'll start writing about what I say to Mum and Dad. I'm going to put my speech marks in, which we've done lots of work on across the year. I'll be thinking about the sentence types I used the other day, trying to get an exclamation sentence in, a boys sentence, a 2AD sentence, a question sentence. But for today, you are just doing a plan. If you would like to, take a picture of your plan and send it to me on Class Dojo or on Seesaw, and I'll have a look and give you some feedback ready for your writing tomorrow, just so I can give you a bit of guidance of what you need to include if you've missed anything as well. Okay, so nice and easy today. Beginning, middle, end. Be really careful not to start writing your story because that's tomorrow activities. We are doing what's called a box it up plan. Very brief, just putting our ideas down, then tomorrow we can write the story. Okay? Any questions, send me a message on Dojo. Thank you.